Both devices are ready, guys. This is Jeff Hill Speaks. I'm going to do a quick training. I say quick, but you know how I am. And it's called Your Inner World Creates Your Outer World. I learned this from Bob Proctor a long time ago. And as we know, thoughts are things. A lot of times we gloss over everything that's going on in our mind because it's just in our mind, not realizing the damage that it does. So when you hear the phrase, your inner world creates your outer world, now, I'm going to throw out some catchphrases, some one liners, if you will, but I want you to understand the overall theme of this is your inner world creates your outer world. So when I hit you with a one liner, it's part of tying the message and the theme and that particular point together. So don't get so lost in the phrases, right? Now, if you're on a journey, I'm going to throw in biblical principles. The devil comes to steal, kill, and destroy, right? So what is your devil? What is that thing that's stealing, killing, all that kind of stuff for you? Not necessarily killing, but you know what I mean? Or just trying to destroy you. Because if the enemy cannot destroy you, they'll distract you. So your inner world creates your outer world. What are your thoughts in the moments when times are really, really hard for you, right? And if you haven't learned how to become consciously aware of your thoughts, you're going to keep repeating a lot of the mistakes that you're going through. And the mind is a muscle, so you have to build it as such. That's why I'm always surrounding myself with books. Every single month or every other month, I'm always going to some type of personal development event. Because I'm always trying to keep myself around the people who outthink and elevate me. Surround yourself with the thinking that outthinks you. And it's always weird because sometimes when you see somebody who's accomplished more, or maybe in the same situation or organization with you, but they're doing more, it's always a direct reflection of more that you can be doing until you become the number one and everybody's asking you, what are you doing? How are you doing it, right? So I've had to really do a lot of soul searching. I'm always kind of looking within, seeing what's going on, and then I check my surroundings. What is my outer world? Do you have debt? Do you have good quality of friends? How's your work-life balance? Are you sick? What's going on? Because whatever your conscious thoughts are, the thing that you always keep thinking about is going to show up in your actions and show up in your life. So if you have some kind of hell or chaos going on, go back to the root of your thoughts. What is going on in your inner world right now? And you really have to listen and pay attention. Because here's how it typically works. You're sitting there during the day, at work, whatever, maybe you're scrolling through social media, something happens, or you see something that kind of makes you mad, right? Cool, little thought. But then you start to get emotionally connected to that thought. And you just start letting it brew. Oh, well, man, if it was me, I would have did A, B, C, D, E. And you're getting angry and emotionally connected with what you could have done and would have done in that situation. But all you're doing is feeding that negativity. And the more you sit there and stew in that, the more your inner world is going to start to reflect in your outer world. Now, sometimes it's not always an instantaneous thing, so we don't necessarily understand when it happens, right? Because think about it like this: if I kick a table, I'm going to get immediate feedback with this. That's going to hurt, right? Well, sometimes when it comes to what's going on in your thoughts, it's starting to be planted and you're starting to fertilize as you keep thinking about it, and it starts to grow into a bigger issue. So when I do my training on the slip, I have the quote right here: don't look where you fell, but look where you slipped. Well, what is the thing that keeps tripping you up? Like if you are saying, hey, I want to be a better, more positive person, you start getting around positive people, how long is it before you just distance yourself away from them? I've trained on many different things over my career as a professional, and one of the things I talk about is referrals. And I've taught this referral process. It wasn't anything I created, but I learned it and I mastered it. And because of my results, people always ask me, hey, man, hey Jeff, listen, how are you doing it, man? What are you really doing? And I would tell them. And then I would always follow up, hey man, how's that thing working out? Are you getting referrals? Like, yeah, man. Listen, man, when I started using it, it was working great. And it started working so good, I stopped. We do that in life a lot of times. A lot of times we see it in gyms, right? That's a big walking joke. At the beginning of the year, everybody's ready to get fit. You know, they posting their 10-year challenge photos and all that kind of stuff. All this stuff is happening, right? And then a month in the world, you were saying, man, I don't really feel like it today. I'll be all right. You know what? I dropped a few pounds. Okay, not where I wanted, but all right, cool. And then keeps happening, and all of a sudden your inner world, because you're letting those thoughts say it's okay to take this day off. And I'm not saying it's not okay to take a day of rest, especially if you're working out a lot. You know, you got to have some healing time and things like that. Unless you're David Goggins, shout out to him, guy's a beast. But sometimes for most people, until you build up that muscle and that endurance, it's okay to take a break, because you don't want to get burnt out, right? So back to everything that's going on inside, it's reflecting in your life. So if you've gotten on the journey and you started losing the weight and you got off the program and you started gaining the weight, that's a clue. But sometimes with that's different, because weightlifting and working out is a strenuous process, right? If I go to the gym today and I hit it really hard, I'm going to feel that within the next day or so. Your thoughts sometimes can take a little bit longer to germinate in your life, right? So just know this: your inner world is always creating your outer world. So make sure you are inspecting what you're expecting. I got to leave you with this, because in my devotional, I read this week, and man, I never thought about the idea of faith like this. Typically, when you hear people talk about faith, it's always a positive thing, right? Oh, you got to have faith, you got to trust and believe, you know, you keep your eye on the prize and it's going to happen, right? But in this devotion, it broke down and it was talking about how faith is the evidence of things not seen. So it hadn't happened yet, you can't see it. Well, for most of us, fear is not real either. It's not seen. So in the message they said fear is also faith, because we're allowing fear, something that we can't see, to control us from an outcome. Faith works the exact same way, except it's on the positive side. So you get to choose which one you want to follow. Either way it go, you're expecting something to happen or something to not happen. Fear, faith. And it takes the same energy to attract the stuff that's good that it does the stuff that's bad. But we use our inner world not for the attracting of things positive. We let that negative stuff stir up, and then we'll say something, oh, well, yeah, I'm positive, right? But is it going on really inside to where it's reflecting in your actions and in your life? So understand the difference between the fear and the faith and how they work together, but it's how you use them. And also understand that your inner world is always creating your outer world. I'm going to go ahead and post this, put it on YouTube, go to Facebook, follow me on Facebook, follow me on Twitter, follow me on Instagram. On Instagram, Jeff Hill Speaks. That's the platform that I'm probably most active on now. And Facebook. Twitter, I got some stuff on autopilot. I don't do Twitter as much unless it's automatically ported over from Facebook. But if you follow me on Facebook, Jeff Hill Speaks. Or if you're following me on Instagram, cool, you should be able to do that. Also, like, tag, share, subscribe to my YouTube channel, and share this content, guys. Because, again, the more you start to use what I'm teaching you, you're going to see some changes happen. As those changes happen, come back to the post, keep sharing it, and keep putting the positive energy out there, because, again, it will return to you.